There we go. Uh, that's not right. Okay. All right. All right. Share my story. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome to the Self Checkout Show. We are back. We are back. We are back, and we are glad to be back. It's our first show of 2022, and we are looking forward to a phenomenal year. We had a wonderful year last year, and we are looking forward to an even greater and better year this year in 2022. I'm really glad to be back with you guys. It's been, oh boy, it's been about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 4 weeks since since we've been away. I needed to take a break just so I could, relax a little bit and get some things in order for the show, for the ministry, uh, and just rest sometimes. Sometimes it's good to just relax and rest. And that's what I've been doing. Hey, hey, hey. My friend Cherie McGee is on. Hello, hello to you and your husband. Tell him I said, hey, Happy New Year. That's right. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year to you. Also, Dr. Kermita Washington. So glad to have you on, faithful supporter of the Self Checkout Show. You guys, this is amazing. I feel so good being back. I'm really, really excited to have everybody back with me. If you guys don't mind, we're going to have a really, really interesting and intriguing show tonight. Hey to my mommy. Hey, mommy. Is on. If you all don't mind, I would like for you to share this broadcast tonight. Please, 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 if you will. We're going to have very, very interesting discussion tonight, and I want to get this in the eyes of as many viewers as possible. So go ahead, hit that share button for us. And before I introduce my guests, got a few things happening, and I am excited to talk to you guys about it and share with you. The first thing, if you have not done so, please connect with me, connect with WTM on all of our social media outlets, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We have the same handle on all three, WT Ministries 3. If you're on Instagram or Twitter, of course you're on Facebook. I see you here. But if you're on either one of those, connect with us there, WT Ministries 3. We would certainly like to have you be a part of that with us, as well as we do have some great things happening coming up this year. Now, also, during the time that I was off, and myself and along with my church, we've been in prayer and fasting. This month, we do it corporately every year. And I've been, seeking the Lord about a few things. And I want to, and I will be posting this publicly. I am praying, it is my prayer that you partner with WTM. It is our goal, as you can see, to have 50 people partner with us by sharing a $20 gift to the ministry. That's right, only $20 1 month. And if you are willing to become a partner with us, we have some great things coming down the pipeline, guys. I'm just going to tell you. And we are really, really excited about it, but we need your help. Partner with us. $20 love offering, $20 a month. That's nothing. If this ministry or myself has been a blessing to you in any way, please consider partnering with us. If you are on this show tonight and you want to become a partner, simply comment your email address and our team will be reaching out to you to let you know how you can do that. And we appreciate everything that you guys do. Thank you so much. I will, Dr. Kermita, just give us your email address. Put your email address in the comments, or you can inbox me your email address and we will make sure to give you that information. I'm not really big, guys, on posting Cash Apps and Zelle information. I just kind of don't like it. But I do want you all to have it. And thank you for partnering with us. I will definitely make sure you get that information. Lauren, Happy New Year. Hey. Hello. Mimi, let me just call you what I call you. All right, Dr. Washington, thank you so much. Hey, Donna, good to see you. Hey, that's the sweetest mail lady anybody ever wanted to meet. Miss Donna Hall, she is on. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Yes, partner with WTM. $20 a month. Just inbox me or the ministry page, your email address, and we will get that information to you. And thank you so much, Dr. Washington. She is our first partner. So now we only need 49 more to come aboard. All right, Lauren, glad to have you. Glad to have everybody. Well, you guys, now that that's out the way, oh boy. It is time to introduce my guests to you guys tonight. Thank you, Donna. You are as well. You're a sweetheart. My guests tonight are absolutely no strangers to any of us. And I want you all to take yourself off mute.
We was making sure we got our words out the way.
Before I introduce them, Rosalind, I am glad to see you. Rosalind Brown, super glad to see you. We have been praying for you. And we are grateful to God that He has pulled you through and will continue to pull you through. We thank God for your testimony, and we can't wait until it's total and complete when you share it with us. We love you, and we'll continue to pray for you. Now, these guys that you see, oh boy, I just don't know, y'all. You know, my brother he's all right with me. This other one, though, you know.
You better proceed with caution.
If I have him, I may as well.
You better proceed with caution.
No, everybody knows these two, and I'm super, super excited to have them as my first guest of 2022. They are the marriage counselors. They are the overseer and the doctor. They are the pastors. They are the everything to everybody is who they are. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Overseer Martyce and Dr. Nancie Murphy.
Well,
how you guys doing?
What's up? Happy New Year to you too. Wait, I got to go back though.
We got to go back?
Yeah. Donna.
Hey, Donna.
Who she don't know?
Donna know everybody.
Donna knows everybody.
Donna know everybody. Donna is family. Donna is our family. She's my sister. And so, hey, Donna.
And Donna, you are right. She is a firecracker.
See, Donna, I'm being nice and I'm saying nice things about you. And look how you're talking about me already.
Good evening, Katina. Hey, Katina is on. Thank you so much for tuning in, Katina. Always. Katina is one of our latest supporters who've been with us for quite a few months now. So we're glad to have you. And look at this. Somebody said they are here to fact check all the info and intel tonight.
Hello, apostles.
Oh my God.
Our apostles.
To my apostles, our apostles.
My apostles. Go get your own. Go get your own.
Not doing all that tonight.
What number are you? 12, 15, 22, 30? What number?
Oh my God. Look, we were talking. Let me tell you this. We were talking this was during a revival with Apostle Edgar down in Oklahoma. And before we started the revival, he told them, he said, well, you know, I'm promised number 8. I said, oh, Lord, we're not even going to get into all that.
You all the way in Oklahoma talking about he's number 8?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Excuse me, do we know you like that, sir?
No. We do.
Oh,
No, we of course miss you too, Katina. I miss all of you guys. I'm really, really excited about being back on. She said, the doctors say they looking all cute tonight. They okay. Whatever.
Well, you know, I have to live up to the whole fancy Nancie thing. So
yes, you guys, she is affectionately called Fancy Nancie, thanks to Dr. Linda Stennis.
That's right.
That name. Hey, if you're just joining, I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't shared, please share, because we're about to get into some stuff and have some fun and all of that. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Periscope, all of you guys that are watching, thank you so much for tuning in. And those that will watch the replay, we want you to know that we appreciate you. And I'm not going to mention this anymore tonight on the show. I'm going to make a post about it probably tomorrow. But if you have not heard, we are looking for partners for WTM. And we don't need 50 now. We only need 49. Because we have one already that has agreed to partner with us with a gift of $20 per month, because we're doing some wonderful things for the kingdom this year, and we need your help to do it. So if you are one of those, simply text inbox, leave your email in the comments, and we'll make sure to get you the information you need in order to do that. And we thank you for it. And then we have this.
See, I knew you was gonna do that. You were doing so well. See what I'm saying? See?
Your little brother, of course.
He's a creep, whatever.
Oh my goodness. Well, you guys.
Great brother. Wait, what episode are you on?
I am on episode 8.
Season 1, episode 8.
Season 1. And you guys, if you do not know what we're talking about, we are talking about the Netflix series. It was on the CW at first. I did not care to get into it then. I really didn't even know nothing about it then. But we are talking about the Netflix series In the Dark.
Yes.
I posted it earlier today. I'm like, man, this is some good TV. It's good.
It is good.
If you have not watched In the Dark, you need to start watching it tonight, like for real. Good evening to my godson's mama and the twins' mama. She got all 3 of them. Charlotte Ann, hello.
Hey, Charlotte.
Thank you. In the Dark is so good, y'all.
So good.
You got to check it out. That's all I got to say. You got to watch it.
It's on Netflix.
And
season 4 is on the way. Season 4 is on the way.
Season 4 is coming. I'm almost finished with season 1, so I'll be caught up by the time season 4 drops. But speaking of season 4, this coming Friday, while we're talking about television shows, Ozark is back this Friday, and I cannot wait to get off of work Friday.
I'm not seeing that one.
Dr. Nancie, I was told that you and brother have not watched Ozark at all.
Have not. Nope, I've not seen
Make that your next venture, please.
Make I'm gonna be binging again.
Venture. Yes. Lauren said, note to self, watch In the Dark. See, she agreed, y'all. Lauren said, watch it.
Oh, she's been watching
Stay Close. I heard about that, but I haven't looked into it.
In the Dark is absolutely amazing. It's about a blind woman.
Oh, okay.
And that's enough right there. Just you got.
That's all you need to know. It's about a blind woman.
That's all you need to know. It's amazing. It pulls you in from the very beginning.
From the very beginning. Charlotte agrees. She said, yay to Ozark. There we go. We got some Ozark fans on tonight. And John said, it's about a blind woman who solves cases. It's more to it than that.
Listen, there's a show that comes out every year.
What?
It's called From Genesis to Revelation. Binge that. It's real nice.
Now, you see, it's always one. Kick him off the show. We're going to get rid of him.
Right.
Ozark. See what I'm saying? I have Ozark fans in here.
Lord.
Y'all have to
Tammy
watch
Joseph.
Ozark.
Hey, Tammy.
Don't do
Yes.
too much, okay? See what I'm saying?
You gotta
and
watch
John
it.
already. Y'all get distracted.
You gotta watch Ozark. You see that? Tammy said you need to watch it. I think Katina's telling me to catch up on In the Dark. I am going to have to.
And I'm going to have to start watching Ozark. Tammy never told me about that one. Neither did John.
Look at these two. Look at these two right here.
I told you.
Tammy and John. Look at them.
Already. You should block them. You should block them.
Wow, guys. So you all have a few shows that you could catch up on and start watching. I got to catch up. But Ozark, if you haven't started it, start it. So we're back, and I'm glad to be back. Been off for about a month. Glad to be back in you guys' living rooms, cars, bedrooms, kitchens, wherever you're watching. It goes without saying that we have obviously been in a global pandemic that seems as if there is no end. We come out of one, that big one, when it first happened, we thank God we made it through that, you know. Hey, good evening, Daphne. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We made it through that. And unfortunately, with globally, with over 1 million lives lost to the coronavirus. And then here they come with the Delta variant, who claimed more lives. And now it's Omicron. And there could possibly be another variant that will be springing forth coming out of France. They're still doing research on that. Either way, the first, when it started, obviously, we will never forget as long as we live. They shut us down. They shut the whole country down. We couldn't do nothing, you know, with the exception of essential workers. We had to go to work still. But the majority of this country was shut down. People couldn't go to work, school, nothing. People had wiped the grocery store shelves clean. We were just, you all, anyway, I wasn't, were just in the house. Outside of work, there's nothing I could do. You know, I had to go to work and come straight home. However, hey, to my brother, my blood brother, Cedric, thank you so much for tuning in, bro. So I was okay because I was used to doing that anyway. I'm single, so I come home, I'll get me some food, I'm watching TV. I'm okay with that. I really am. But married individuals and people who are dating and live together, it actually happens. Yes, it does. Not engaged, they just dating, but they living together. There's an old school word for that, shacking. But it does happen. But one thing we found out, I found out during research, is that during that year and a half that we were shut down and quarantined, a lot happened in relationships while the pandemic was happening. And I want you guys to take a listen to something, and then we will get into our topic tonight. If I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, yep, I can find it. Here we go.
I'm going to go against the grain.
Okay, we're going to go skip past the ad here because that's not what we're talking about.
Counseling is not only.
Pandemic first began, we kept hearing there would be a big baby boom coming. I mean, that's what everybody was thinking, right? Well, what ended up happening is actually a baby bust. And it turns out there have been more breakups and divorces during this time. Well, Ewick has the story.
The pandemic has caused a lot of stress on relationships.
Many experts anticipated all this locked-in, cooped-up alone time for couples to lead to a baby boom. We've now learned that hasn't been the case. And Dr. Susan Albers of the Cleveland Clinic says it's because too much quality time isn't always a good thing.
The financial strain, being home together 24/7, the general stress and anxiety in the world. This has been a tough time for couples.
The American Family Survey just released was one of the first looks into family dynamics since the pandemic began, and found, unsurprisingly, that it's increased stress and tension in a lot of relationships, with 8% of the participants saying the pandemic has made them more likely to break up or get a divorce.
If your relationship was already strained or rocky, this pandemic often pushed people towards really thinking about what was important in their relationship and making some tough decisions.
The flip side of that coin is that a lot of couples have found this time has brought them closer together and bonded over their common struggles. But either way, Albers says this pandemic has affected every relationship, and the repercussions may not all be seen for a while.
It changed every dynamic.
Oh boy. So, wow to that. We find that a lot of couples across this globe during the time of that year and a half really figured out that they didn't like each other. And I think that, and the reporter said that in that clip there, that too much quality time showed not to be good for these couples. So let's get into it. In the Bible, God said in Genesis, he said, it's not good for man to be alone. He did say that. Mm-hmm. So he made Eve, right? Mm-hmm. But isn't it good to be alone sometimes, even if you are married? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Ladies first, I'll let you start.
I'll just start by saying I like the clip. It was most informative. And what you will find is the one thing that I disagreed with while she was talking was that she said that some of the, that they didn't like each other, or that spending too much time together. What did she say? She said, because I said it to you just now. They were on shaky ground. Yeah. And I said to Pastor Martyce, when we're doing marriage stuff, we're Martyce and Nancie, so we'll drop titles. But I said to Martyce, it was even for those who seemingly thought that they had a great marriage or they had a good marriage. We found ourselves, counseling couples in and during, through, and we're still in COVID and during COVID. And so the problem was that they didn't have any escapes. They didn't have any outs. A lot of families aren't the typical Nancie and Martyce. Willie, that we're together 90 to 95% of the time, maybe even more than that. But for those couples, they're used to the daily routine of, getting up in the morning, saying good morning, saying how are you doing, grabbing their things, kissing, going off to work, and they got that entire day to spend, to outsource, to vent, or to whatever they're doing during the course of the day, focus on something different. They're not around each other. They're discussing something else. And when they come back home, it's good evening, it's dinner time, we're getting the kids ready. So life is happening and they don't have to spend that time together. So what's happening is that they really don't know each other the way that they thought they had, or in the mix of everything, they lost each other. And so, yes, it is good sometimes. Back to your question initially, is it good for couples to spend time apart or be alone? There is, because sometimes you need that time to recalibrate yourself, to think about what it is that you want, or to do some of the things that you like. I'll go for a massage every now and again. Pastor Martyce goes for his haircut. So we have some alone time, but again, we're often together all the time. And even in that, and I guess I don't want to jump too far ahead. I was going to say something about that, but my answer to you, as far as the question is concerned, is yes, it is good to have some alone time just to kind of recalibrate yourself.
Because what I come to find out, even the purpose or the main reason for having alone time is for you actually to find yourself at the same time, because when you're together, that means you're thinking about her or she's thinking about you. And so that's that's one of the main arguments that couples have. What you want to eat? I don't know. What you want to eat? And so when you're not together, you don't
have to worry about
you
what
have to worry about
it.
it.
You can have
when she go get her nails done and a massage, I can go get what I want to eat. And when she come back, she can stop and get us something to eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things.
I laugh so often because John and I we laugh at you two, and we may have said this to apostles before. You two remind us of Dr. Kurt and Dr. Linda because your personalities are similar. Martyce is very much like Dr. Kurt. Nancie, you are very much like Dr. Linda in personalities, and the fact that you are inseparable. You are always together. And we laughed and said, God forbid, of course, we were joking that if something happened to one of them, something gonna happen to both of them because they always together.
We are. And I tell people all the time, and I jokingly say it. He's like my American Express. I don't leave home without him.
My cousin, Pastor Willie Taylor, is, yes, guys, that is his name. That is my name. Yes, we are cousins.
I was like,
I'm in Chicago.
Right, I seen the comment. I'm thinking he commented on
No, he is actually my cousin down in Mississippi. It so happens we have the same name. And he's a pastor too. He says, yes, temporary or short-term separation is good. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And that is an old phrase that, and I think that's true. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. But in the case of, we were just laughing like you and your husband and Dr. Kurt, Dr. Linda. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I don't know how I would take it if I just saw one of you all day or for several hours without the other one. It's weird.
It is quite weird. It is quite. And the few times that he has gone out of town or I have gone out of town, and we can probably count them on one hand since we've been married almost now 11 years. It's a whole situation because I'm like, well, when are you coming back? I'll hurry up and come back. Well, I can't do this. Well, I can't do that. Well,
oh, wait.
Yeah. So we're together a good 90 to 95% of the time.
So in that, in the clip we were looking at, I don't know if anybody else was paying attention to it. I was. Of course, they were acting, but we had couples. One of the couples was arguing on the couch while the kids were holding their ears.
Yeah.
We had another man packing his suitcase. He out. And for me, I'm thinking you don't just wake up in the morning. Well, it could very well happen, but I don't think you just wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm out. Bye.
Yeah. No.
I think that things lead up to, separations, unfortunately, divorces in some cases. And I want to put this, I saw this on Facebook today, and I'm going to put it up here, and I want you to give me your take on this. This is what I saw on Facebook. It says, in relationships of any kind, please pay attention to the weight of your words.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Wow.
Go ahead.
Well, when you see or read stuff like that, it means what you say, how you say. A lot of times we can use words and it sounds okay coming out of our mouths, but the person that's receiving it offends their ears. You know what I'm saying? So like she says to me, and this is just being transparent, and I don't realize it, and I didn't realize it, that I would say certain things to her, and she'd be like, "Oh, why you got to be so sarcastic?" And I'm like, "What? I ain't saying that. I was just joking. I hadn't done anything." But then, as I sat back and began to kind of, examine my words, I realized what I was saying is not what I meant. So I had to go back and straighten it out. And even when I respond to certain things that we talk about, I say, give me a second. Let me make sure I speak the right words so it don't go left.
The Bible says.
Hold on 1 second, Dr. Nancie. I want to go back to something. I kind of chuckled a little bit because I know Apostles Stennis were replying to me saying that it's weird. It would be weird seeing one of them without the other. So we know that is true because they are always together at all times. I'm telling y'all, Martyce and Nancie have got to be Kurt and Linda reincarnated. I'm telling you, because y'all so much alike until it's funny. Lambie Allen, thank you so much for tuning in. My girl Lambie, or how I normally call you, Lambie. So glad to have you on. Rosalind says it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and that is very, very true. Daphne agrees, and my girl Tawana is Tashana is on. I said Tawana. Words can ruin a marriage. Watch how you talk to your spouse, which is where Martyce was coming from. Now, Dr. Nancie, you can pick up from there.
What I was saying was that the Bible says that the power of life and death is in our tongue. And so I will say, although I agree, I also say sometimes it is what we say. I've seen Rosalind say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Sometimes it really is what we say, which is why we have to be mindful of what we say when we say what we say. And yes, our words have weight. That's why he says that the power of life and death is in our tongue. We can speak a thing into existence. And so we have to be mindful of what we're saying in relationships and definitely in our marriages. One thing that Martyce and I said early on in our marriage, pretty much right after we got married, is that we would never use the word divorce in our home. So we have never said at any time during our marriage, since we said I do, we've never discussed divorce. It never flies out. When we're angry with each other, and I'm not necessarily talking about Martyce, and I'm talking just period in relationships. When we're angry with each other, we'll say pretty much anything. Why? Because we're wanting to get a reaction out of the other person. We're purposely saying what we're saying, whether it's true or false, to get a reaction, to maybe hurt the other one's feelings, or to make the other person think about something, take notice to what we're saying. And so, yes, our words carry weight. Now,
let me ask you about that. Let me ask you about that. And I agree with you. I think that's done no matter what type of relationship it is, even in friendships or whatever. When you get angry, and that's one thing that a lot of people do. And I was one of those people. If I'm mad like that, I go for the jugular.
You're going for the jugular.
And I had to stop and realize that that's not healthy. That's not healthy for any relationship that you value. So we agree. I mean, come on, y'all. Being angry, that's a human, God-given emotion. It's, yes. So, but it matters in relationship how you channel that anger and how you express that anger. So, because I think that, and I posted this, Dr. Nancie, and I want you to finish. I posted this some time ago, and I'll stick by it as long as I live. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, was the biggest lie ever told. Your words have weight.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So go ahead and pick up where you were.
Words have weight. Like you're saying, words shape us. Come on, words affect our psyche, if you will, to who we become or who we are. And if it's somebody that you love or somebody that you deem special and or important to you, those words will make you question your very being, who you are. Those words can affect you. You know, if I told Martyce he was good for nothing, he might sit around and think, she said, I'm good for nothing. And he'll ponder that thing and ponder that thing. And you never know what the effects on him, there will be on him. So words definitely carry weight. That's why we have to use wisdom and be mindful when we say things. It can be the right thing at the wrong time. It's not edifying. It's not building up. It's not encouraging the person to do. And sometimes it's even in how we say it. There's a delivery that has to come from the
delivery.
word.
Yeah.
There's a delivery, especially if we want the other person to receive it. So it's important that we're mindful of what we say, when we say it, and how we say it. So that's why it's so important that we ask the Lord for wisdom. We actually tell couples in the heat of the moment. We call it heated fellowship. We don't like to call it arguments. We don't like to call it fights. We call them heated fellowship. Again, in a marriage and or in a relationship, your verbiage shapes the relationship. So
y'all don't have arguments. I don't believe it. I would never believe it.
No, we have heated fellowship.
I don't even think you have that.
We don't agree about everything. We disagree.
Yeah.
And in the heated fellowship, number one, we like that, and we counseled and given couples in our marriage retreats, we've given them heated fellowship or huddles that they're supposed to go into. We just believe that fellowship keeps us connected.
Yeah.
It's the word fellowship. So it keeps us connected. Now it may get a little hot. It may be something that we don't like, but we understand that we have to be mindful of what we're saying, and we have to be able to receive it from one another and choose our words. And so I think that a lot of times if we put up,
and that's key right there. Choose your words.
Choose your words. And what we tell couples is to set boundaries and parameters. It's important early on in your marriage before we get into anything else. I'm talking first week, maybe 2 weeks of your marriage. Set boundaries and parameters that you both will abide by. And that's one of our boundaries and parameters, again, is that we will not say the word. I don't care how upset we get with each other. We'll never say the word divorce unless that's exactly what we mean. I mean, we're on our way out the door going to see the attorney, getting these divorce papers going at the courthouse, pretty much. So we never say it. So if you set boundaries and parameters on the relationship, it helps guide the relationship, but you both have to honor it.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the key, is honoring that. So words carry weight. Yes, words hurt, and they have a lasting effect. So that's why we have to be mindful of what we say.
Pastor Gregory Huggins Jr., my friend, is on. He says our emotions at times can unknowingly edit what we say.
Definitely.
That's for sure. I agree with that 100%. And those of you that are watching, if you have questions for our marriage counselors, put those questions in the comments and they will answer them if they have an answer. But I bet you they have an answer. They're good at what they do. I did receive a couple of anonymous questions. Okay. Individuals wanted to know certain things, and they didn't want to be revealed who they were. And I said, okay, I would ask the marriage counselors. And the first question that I got is, amongst married couples, this was a young lady who asked, is there anything off limits between my husband and myself in the undefiled bed? I'm putting it PG for the rest of my viewers because that's not how she asked. Is it okay for a married couple to do whatever they want to say what I need to say?
Let's be in the private chat. Don't put it in the public. Put it in the private. I go right over to
I'm not putting that
now. Is there anything in a marriage? Say it again now.
She said, is there anything, let's say, off limits between her and her husband alone? No third party, just the two of them. Are they free?
Okay.
This is a Christian couple. Are they free to do whatever they want to do in their marriage bed?
Thank you, because I got a little office. Now hold on now. I would say
this boy said I had a Mike Ty question. Get out of my show. Don't come back. Go ahead, Doctor.
Yes. Well, first of all, we're really
wide open,
sensitive, being that we're wide open on Facebook when we talk about this. Typically, these type of discussions we only have with married couples. And so that being said, I would say that as long as the two of you all have had a conversation about your marriage bed, then I would say that there's not really anything. I mean, outside of, sodomy.
Outside of this, huh?
Right. Oh, yeah. We're not beating and all that stuff like that. But, outside of that, I would say, like, I know for me, I don't want to be bound. So you're not locking me to nothing. So it's what makes you comfortable. So I would say no, as long as you're both willing to participate and or experience or learn, it's not demeaning, and everybody and the two of you are okay with it, explore it. And if you don't like it, if you find that you don't like it, you don't have to do it.
Kick it out.
Kick it out.
Martyce, did you want to add to that?
No, I was feeding her.
Oh, okay. See, Kurt and Linda. See what I'm saying? All right. The next question I have, this question says, my husband has unhealed trauma. And let me go back. My husband has unhealed trauma from past relationships and is pushing me away. What do I do?
Woo!
And you said all that to say.
Well, let's see how we will handle that situation. Yeah. He has unhealed trauma and is pushing her away. That's one of those things where, okay, transparent moment. It don't matter. Listen, that's a transparent moment. In the beginning of our marriage, in the beginning of our marriage, first, most of you all know that this is our second time around. And so in the beginning of our marriage, I had a trauma issue, I'll call it. I had a trust issue to where, when we got together, any little thing that she did, it brought those red flags up, which it wasn't wrong on her end, but I felt on my end that it was because of the self issue. And so in the midst of all of that, she picked it up, she noticed it. And so when she noticed it and recognized it, what happened was we actually sat down, we had a conversation about it. She reassured me that what you're thinking and what you dealt with or what you were involved with, that's not what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? And so it was one of those things to where she had to continue to pretty much feed me the trust part to rebuild my trust up. And so when that happened, then guess what? That whole trust issue it vanished away because she was willing to, help me out because she knew what the situation was.
I'll also say that sometimes a person doesn't know that they have trauma. And so it's not until they're triggered that trauma will then begin to surface. Sometimes we can't always discuss things prior to our marriage because we don't really realize or we haven't owned the fact that hurt me or that traumatized me. So I would say that counseling or an accountability, a couple that you can be accountable to would be perfect for the couple, and then reaffirming and reassuring each other. When we get in marriage, we say for better or for worse. And so that means I'm going to walk through the valley of the shadow of death with you.
Yeah,
I'm going to go there with you. I'm going to cover you. I'm going to protect you. And that's, again, one of the things that I did with Pastor Martyce. I reaffirmed him to let him know that I love him and that I wasn't going to do to him. I wasn't going to drop him. We have to be mindful of that as well, is that some of us have these traumas and we're concerned about it happening again. So I'm not going to drop you. Settle yourself. And you can breathe and settle yourself, get comfortable in it because I'm not going anywhere. And we have to be honest with our words. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. I love the book that our apostles have listed, Shadows of the Past. But I also,
Can you all see that?
Put it in front of you.
Put it over in front of you.
There you go.
Yeah. Shadows of the Past. But again, I think that it's just really important that we communicate when we're hurting. And sometimes, even like Pastor Martyce in his transparency, he didn't really realize what he was doing. That's why I said sometimes
I really want to talk about that for a moment. If you all have been, those of you that have been following this show since we started, I have a thing for us men who are willing to say, I have issues or I had issues, whatever the case may be. My brother says to us a few minutes ago that, okay, I loved her, I married her, but even in that, I still had issues because of trauma that happened to me before. So I want to ask you, Martyce, how willing were you to open up and be transparent to her concerning those issues? And then I want to ask Dr. Nancie, how difficult or easy was it for you, his wife, to pull back those layers? Somebody's going to really, really get help with this tonight.
Well, in the beginning, when God created, real talk.
Right.
I'm sorry.
What?
Right. I don't know what you're doing.
In the beginning, when we first got together, we sat down and we had a conversation. We laid all our cards down on the table. And so at that moment, with me laying all my cards down on the table, and see, this is what couples, when you date, you all need to have conversations before you say I do, and say the things that what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. And so we had those conversations. So I was, at that point, I was open and ready to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And so when I put the information, the cards on the table, and we went on from there. So
for couples that have never been married before, for people that are looking to get married, it's important. You have to weigh those previous relationships that you've had, those previous dating relationships that you've had, what you think worked, and be honest.
Yeah.
Come on, we're mature now. We're not in high school no more. We aren't 20 years old anymore. We know what we like and what we don't like. Be honest and tell the other person where you are.
Yeah.
If you've been in a first marriage and you're going into a second marriage, sit down and take ownership of what you did that made that marriage not work. Because listen, it wasn't all the other person. Hello, somebody.
Right.
Things wrong too.
Yeah.
And so you have to take ownership of that, identify that, and sit down. So that's what he's talking about, is that we sat down and we talked about our previous marriages, what worked, what didn't work, what I did, what he did, what I didn't do, what he didn't do. And we determined that those things were going to be the things that we weren't going to bring back into this marriage, but we were going to do our own thing. Now, again, like I said before, Pastor Martyce I don't believe that he really realized that he had been affected the way that he was affected. I don't believe that he realized when we said I do that he was battling that trust issue, because it really didn't surface while we were dating.
No.
It really didn't. It wasn't until we got married and we were, in the house and doing our thing, and that I started, he didn't notice it. I noticed it. I'm doing something and he'd be looking over my shoulder. What you doing? And it kept happening.
Yeah.
So I said to him, listen, what is going on? Every time I find myself doing this, that, and the other, I notice that you're doing this, that, and the other. So what's up? So sometimes we have to pull each other to the carpet, because there were triggers.
Yeah.
There were triggers.
Yeah.
Once he was triggered, it caused that response. So because I noticed it, then that's when I said, okay, listen, let's talk about this. What's happening? And that's what caused him to have to we had to now deal with it. And again, because I loved him, I'm willing to walk through this with you. So let me reassure you, right? Let me reaffirm you. And now let's begin to put new blocks or new layers on what. Let's peel that all back. We removed it now. We put let me love you back to life. Let's put some new layers on this and put you in a position now where you can walk completely healed.
My mom says that the couple that I asked the second question about says they should have had counseling before marriage to discuss his issues. That's good. Premarital counseling is amazing. Lambie says communication is key. Support and reassurance. I like that. That. And Pastor Greg just agreed with somebody. So thank you for agreeing.
Yeah, you typed that when I was talking.
So look, while you were talking, I want to ask this question also. And I said something about this also on social media not long ago, because I don't know if it's just me, if I'm just paying too much attention, but I see lots and lots of people, male and female, and it is good for a single person to desire a lifelong companion. Nothing wrong with that. You should want that. If that's your thing, go for it. I support you 100%. However, in that, some people that I know personally are how can I say this? They are not emotionally available because of their previous relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it's like they let me just say it in today's terms, thirsty
Mm-hmm.
to get married
Mm-hmm.
or to get remarried or whatever the case may be. It concerns me because if you have that much baggage, if you are that unavailable emotionally, why do you want to get in another relationship or another marriage knowing that you are not ready? What would you all say to these individuals?
I I think that it's the glitz and glam, or the glitz and glam that they believe is in marriage or to marriage. And I don't think that people always, again, I don't think that people always realize where they are emotionally.
Right.
Sometimes we suppress things, we don't own things. Maturity is key when it comes down to any relationship. We have to own our stuff. Iyanla Vanzant used to say it all the time on her show.
Yep.
Own your stuff, do your work. And a lot of times we don't. We're so busy pointing fingers at the other person. We don't want to say, okay, I took part in this. Yeah, you stole it, but guess what? I drove the getaway car.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. We just want to be like, well, if you hadn't stole it, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. And if you didn't want it, at no point did we acknowledge the fact that I took you and I drove the getaway car. Hello, I had a foot in it too, right? And so it's not going to change until we get to that place where we take ownership for what we've done and are accountable for what we've done in the situation as well. That's the bottom line. And so then again, the glitz and glamour, we look at the ring for little girls. We've always thought about this day. We've played out the wedding in our head. We want the dress. We want the decorations and the music and all the people there. And we forget there is a tomorrow.
Yeah.
There are some years to the situation. You know what I'm saying? And we forget, or we don't even take the time. And yes, this is why premarital counseling is so important. We don't take the time to consider the vows that we are taking. We don't take the time to walk those vows out, to recite those vows, to look up the definition to some of the words. This ain't a promise that we're making. It's a covenant that we're not making to the people that's there who ain't brought a gift or who brought half the gift for the amount of money we just spent. But these are covenants that we are making to God. This is a covenant that we're making to God before witnesses, before people that have heard what we've said about the other person. And so when we begin, hey, Apostle Shaq, when we begin to take those vows seriously, walk through those vows and understand what we're saying, that this is just not a promise. Because people, my daddy used to say when we grew up, when Melanie and I grew up, my daddy would always tell us, he'd make us a promise and a promise never breaks. Well, I learned as I got older. I mean, it was wonderful coming from my daddy, and he never broke a promise to us that I know of. But as I've gotten older, people have broke promises to me. Yeah, people have broke promises. But when we hold it as sacred as a vow, a covenant to God, it changes the tone now of the vows we are taking. And so now we should be holding them in a different place, in a different position. I tell people all the time when Martyce and I are counseling and or when we're talking, I love him. I love this man. Flat-footed, I can say it without a shadow of a doubt. I love this man. Now, I don't like him every day. Yeah, there are some days he ticks me off. But because I love him and because of the covenant that I made to God as it relates to this man, I keep that back pocket card that says, I love him because of this. I love him because of that. And now it changes. Now, I still may be a little upset with him, but it changes now how I view him. And so we've got to, we've just got to put different glasses on, and we've got to be serious about the vows or the commitment, the covenant that we're making when we go into it. And we have to understand this is not a game. It's not a game.
I want to look at this comment real quick before I go to Martyce. Donna says that was right on point for me, being single for 8 years, and I'm still not emotionally ready for any relationship. Do you see how important this is, y'all?
Mm-hmm.
It's important. Single for 8 years, and she says, I'm still not emotionally available, not emotionally ready for any relationship. I'm learning to unload some of my baggage because I do desire to be in a relationship, but I'm learning how to love me first.
I love it because so many people say that a marriage is 50-50. Newsflash, just like Donna just said, it is not. It is 100 and 100. You got to love yourself, because Martyce can never love me more than I love myself, and vice versa. So it's important that I'm able to love me, so that then I can show him or help him love me the right way, and vice versa.
Because at the end of the day, if you don't know how to love yourself, the other person can't love you. And that is why.
Because we go through changes. We share that with couples too. We go through changes in life as we get older, right? As things change. I may like apples today, but guess what? I don't have to like them tomorrow. I remember when I was younger, lime green and orange would be my favorite color. But now that I'm older, guess what my favorite color is? It's purple. So things change. And I've got to be able to say that too and communicate that to him. So then he now knows he's equipped with the right information.
And what I was going to say right before that is why so many couples and so many relationships, marriages fail because of the 50-50 rule. Because what happens, they end up looking for love in all the wrong places.
Looking for the other person to complete them.
Right. Because if I bring 50 and she got 50, guess what? My 50 ain't enough to cover her and me. So therefore, I'm going outside to see what's outside, or I'm doing something that ain't benefiting to neither one of us.
You're still not fulfilled.
Yeah.
You're still not fulfilled.
Good evening, Roderick. Thank you for tuning in tonight, my friend Roderick, all the way from Virginia. Thank you. I think he's Virginia. And hey, Pastor Troy Thomas, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by tonight. While you guys are talking, I'm just reminded of so many things. And one of the things, and I can be honest and say this, one of the things that I had bad was, let me do it this way. If you had done something wrong to me, or, whatever the case may be, and we argue or have heated fellowship, and I'm over it, or I say I'm over it, and then the next couple of months down the line, I'm bringing it back up again the way you hurt me the last time. How dangerous is that?
That's very dangerous. That's like a atomic bomb. For you to hold on, if you love someone and something happened, it's not good to throw it back in their face every time you have an argument, because that situation should have been dealt with when that situation happened. So, and even to the point to where we counsel people to where they talked about it and called themselves dealing with it, but a few weeks later they get into an argument, and guess what? I'm throwing this back in your face again.
Or they on our couch telling us about something that happened 5 years ago.
Right, but you telling us something about something that happened 5 years ago, but yet still y'all still together right here, right now. Mm-hmm. So why are we going back 5 years ago, and what happened in between the 5 years that kept y'all together?
Yeah. Pastor Troy says Pastor Nancie Murphy being younger, was that a long?
No, honey, it's still now. Thank you very much. Now,
and we do Apostle Shaq. That's what Martyce and Nancie call an argument. They don't call it an argument. They call it heated fellowship, and I like that.
We don't have arguments. We have disagreements.
Lambie agrees with Pastor Martyce, and we have another question for our marriage counselors from Daphne. She says, what do you do if you've been in a relationship for 11 years to find out your partner has married another woman while you are together? Wow.
That's big.
That's heavy.
That's deep. Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna step back on this one. Y'all the marriage counselors. I'm not.
That's big.
Yeah.
That is majorly big.
That's really big. Daphne, I would say, first of all, now that you know it, you've owned it, obviously, because you know what the situation is. I would say forgive yourself first. That's most important. And I would also say that now you need some counseling. You've got to get therapy. So often we look at therapy as a negative situation, but I would suggest that you go and get therapy. You need to unpack these 11 years. You've given 11 years of your life that you cannot get back. And so I think that you need to go and sit down with someone and talk about, how this is affecting you now. What were some of the signs that maybe you missed, or some of the signs that you've seen that you didn't pay attention to? And then begin to work on your healing so that you won't take this into your next relationship and or your next or your marriage, when you're looking to get married or when you start to get to that place. So I think that counseling is going to be huge for you. I think that counseling, and it's okay to grieve it. Yeah. I want to tell you that it's okay to grieve it and say, you know what, this hurt me. Yep. This hurt me because you had expectations, Daphne, for that relationship. And now those expectations are gone because this person now has gone and married someone else. So again, I would suggest that you go and seek out good. Now listen, I'm big on this too now. I want you to go find a certified Christian counselor. Because to me, I don't care what anybody says, and I know that there'll be some that don't agree with it. But you need to couple that counseling with some prayer, because there's some work internally and in your spirit that God is going to have to do for you. Okay. And not everybody that's a counselor in the world, if you would, is going to be able to point you in that direction and or tell you to do that. So we've got to work both naturally and spiritually. Yeah. Your spirit man needs to be repaired and healed, and your natural man has to be repaired and healed as well.
And not only that, you want to make sure that you surround yourself too with positive connections. And when I say positive connections, that means don't talk to it, to your girlfriends.
You can't talk to everybody about it.
You can't talk, right? Girl, I said he done did this, such, and they get to telling you something crazy and stupid. No, you need somebody that's going to help you build yourself back up through this situation and not take advantage of you.
Yes. You don't need everybody's opinion.
Right.
No, I agree with that.
Those were very, very good answers. Daphne, I hope that helped you. Troy says people hold on to things of the past as cushions and safety nets for protection. I agree with that also. Shaniqua says many marriages are and have failed because of wrong teaching, whether from family, friends, or a misled person in the church. True. She says, I love that we have couples who are willing to have these public conversations. Apostle Shaq said, well, you know what?
Baby.
We just going to let that one go. We are going to let that one go. Not in the South, because everybody know everybody. Well, yeah, and Daphne is in the South. I think she's in Georgia, so that's South. So yeah.
Well, Daphne, you know what? The good thing about the pandemic, although it caused some issues for so many of us, and I say us because it was everybody, we now have telehealth. So you can reach out to someone and partner with them via the internet, where nobody now they're not biased, so they don't necessarily like you or the other person. They don't really know you. So you can bear it all on that person. If you need some assistance in finding someone, please inbox me, and I'm happy to connect you with some of those that I know that will assist you in that area.
All right. Well, there you have it. Daphne, connect with the Murphys and they can help you out. What a way to start the self-checkout show for 2022. I'm not even ready to go. I got so many questions I could keep going, but it's dinner time for some of us. So we are going to prepare ourselves to get off of here. Absolutely. It was great advice for sure. There you have it, Murphy. She said, thank you. And she will connect with you both. Apostle Shaq says, yes, there are many ways to be connected and restored. There are. Absolutely. You guys have been wonderful. Shaniqua, of course, you can go back and watch the replay. It's been good from beginning to the end. And y'all know I will work it out with them because I got questions still. That means y'all know if I have good guests, I have them back. So I have to have them back. And speaking of counseling and therapy, tonight was Ask the Murphys. Next Wednesday night, we are asking Dr. Donisha. You remember her, Donisha Collier. She was here several months ago, and what a session it was. She is a licensed counselor and therapist to family, marriage, children. Oh my gosh, she does it all. She is a successful young Black woman who is doing her thing big, and she is back on our show next Wednesday night. So tonight, you ask the Murphys, and next Wednesday, you can ask the doctor. She'll be here. But before we leave,
Pastor Will, can I just interject really quick? Because
please.
I don't want to leave everyone just, with the big wide open. I want people to know that marriage does work. Marriage does work, and marriage can be fun. It can be fulfilling. And it can be lifelong, as long as the two of you all have a made up mind and you're mindful again of the commitment or covenant that you've made, and you're mindful of each other. Oh, we can't get off yet. Oh, Mama said, okay, Mama. All right.
Okay, she says she has.
I'm not gonna let Willie shut it down without you. But
she says she has questions, but private questions.
And it's okay. Like I said often, we tell couples whenever we have our marriage getaways, and we usually have them yearly, but because of the pandemic, we haven't had them. But we share with couples often that we are together a good 95% of the time. It's not often that you'll see one without the other one. And when you see us, we're not walking around with rocks in our jaws. What you see is honestly, and Pastor Will can vouch for it, what you get all the time. So we're not faking this thing. We're not faking him. I want to share with you all again that you will love your mate, but you don't always have to like them. You will have moments where they upset you, and vice versa. We're human. It's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
He made us different, but you've got to have a made up mind that this thing is gonna work, and that there are some things that you're just not gonna allow in your atmosphere. And for us, one of it is divorce. It's off the table for us. It's off the table.
Absolutely. Well, something to keep put on your mind in addition to everything.
He drives. Thank you. I'm sorry, Pastor Will.
Oh, we're talking about Apostle Shaq.
Yeah, he's trying to come here. He drives. Yeah. But it's important to know that I can drive. I'm capable of driving. I have a license. I know how to do it.
I told y'all, Kurt and Linda, that's them. Hey, guys, before we go, it's something that I want you guys to think about. In addition to what they said, and they said really everything, but I do want to leave this with you. Connecting with anyone romantically, emotionally, and physically can be really, really amazing, but you got to know that there's a lot of work that goes into building a good relationship. The first thing you can do, and it was hit on tonight, I think Martyce said it perfectly. The first thing you have to do is to love yourself.
Definitely.
You have to love yourself, and being comfortable with who you are means you'll be a happier person and a happier partner when you love yourself. Also, communicate. Dr. Nancie talked about that in detail. Being able to communicate, talk to your partner about their feelings, ask questions, and listen to their answers. And be honest. Be honest. Come on. Then give each other some space.
Mm-hmm.
Martyce and Nancie ain't gonna do that, but the rest of y'all,
he go to the bathroom.
Give each other some space. Couples time is great, but spending all of your time together, some say isn't. But every couple is different. Every dynamic in a relationship is different. But if you need some space, it's okay to take that space. Also, it's okay to agree to disagree. It's okay to forgive and ask for forgiveness, but always, always support one another. Those are things that I want you guys to think on this week. And we have people, of course, you all saw in the comments who are already saying, have them back, have them back. And yes, my friends, they will be back. I will get, wait a minute. Rosalind said to let her know when the next retreat is.
We'll add you to the group, Rosalind. We have a separate page. I'm sorry, Pastor Will. I know you're trying to get off.
No.
We have a separate page, Marriage God's Design Chicago. It's a private, closed page, and it's only for married couples. And we usually post all of our marriage events and or questions and fun stuff in that group. So we'll make sure that we add you to that group so that you can keep up with everything that's going on.
And I have something that they're going to be doing. They don't even know about it yet. So I will also keep you posted on that retreat. It's coming. Stay close to us. Yeah, but hey guys, it's been amazing. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you to my brother and sister who I love so much, Pastor Overseer Martyce and Dr. Nancie Murphy. I love him all the time. I don't like her, but
I like you. So we're even.
I love them both. Let's be clear. Apostle Shaq.
He would agree with you, I'm sure.
Right. And there you go, Shaniqua. Marriage God's Design Chicago. That is the marriage ministry that Pastor Martyce and Dr. Nancie are over. They are the overseers of it. It is their marriage ministry. So you guys make sure if you want more from them, you can look them up right there on Facebook. Marriage God's Design Chicago. Before we go, tell them a little bit more about that, Dr. Nancie, Pastor Martyce.
About Marriage God's Design Chicago?
Yes.
Again,
I will, cousin.
Mama, I don't know if you're talking to us or if you're talking to Pastor Will.
You're talking to me.
We actually have been told that before as well. So we're looking into that also. Marriage God's Design Chicago is when we were married, it was prophesied during our vows that we were put together for the purpose of marriage. Neither of us thought that was true, but the Lord definitely has confirmed that word. And not long after we were married, we found ourselves right dead in the smack in the middle of it. But Marriage God's Design Chicago is an amazing group of married couples, and we hold each other accountable. We share topics. We talk. It's no holds barred in our group, so we talk all things marriage in the group. We have couch conversations. We have a marriage retreat, or we like to call it a marriage getaway versus a retreat. We have a marriage getaway usually every year in October, but again, due to the pandemic, the last 2 years, it's been virtual. My prayer and my goal is to have it happen again this year in October. It is usually only 20 to 25 couples. We normally go with 20, and then I always extend it maybe an extra 5 more because everybody starts fussing about coming. But it's an intimate setting for couples to come, be restored, be rejuvenated, learn from other couples, take some things back with them, and have a good time, and are able to get away. So Marriage God's Design Chicago is just, I want to say, just an awesome group of married people.
Well, that's Martyce Murphy. That's Nancie Murphy. I'm Pastor Will. We appreciate all of you guys for joining in tonight. Meet us back here next Wednesday night, 7:00 p.m. for Ask Dr. Danisha. Until then, you guys stay blessed, and we'll talk with you soon. Good night, everybody.